Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to Digital Dialogues powered by CXO Digital Paths. In the global conversation, much spotlight is being put on the compute power of large language models and proprietary datasets. But India is charting its own distinctly different path, one that prioritizes inclusivity, linguistic diversity, and digital public infrastructure. The aim is to have an AI ecosystem which is open and scalable with multilingual data. Today, on the occasion of AI Appreciation Day, we will explore how India's approach is not only enabling AI for Bharat, but is also providing a compelling alternative approach for the global platform, one which is rooted on democratization, decentralization, and data sovereignty. And to discuss this, we have a very special guest with us today, an AI visionary who is leading India's national language translation approach. He's none other than CEO of Bhashini, Mr. Amitabh Nag. A very warm welcome, Mr. Amitabh.
Thank you.
So, Amitabh, directly going and to ensuring that I get most of the insights from this conversation today. All this narration at the global level around artificial intelligence is around LLM and the compute power. But when we talk about India and specifically its model like AI Kosh and Bhashini, it is rooted on sovereignty, on democratization, and the localization based on all the multilingual languages that we have in India. Considering these models, as per you, do you think we are creating a case study for the overall globe for them to be influenced and discourse their overall path to a way where data sovereignty is based on scale?
Yes, that's right. That we are actually looking at data sovereignty, the Indian language data sets, and all the other attributes of ethics, values which Indian, culture has to power our AI. So, giving specific examples, if you say that, we are looking at, all the relationships to be intact. For example, mother's brother should be known as mama, not an uncle. So, this is the basic theory by which we are trying to move forward. And data happens to be the key to the entire thing. One of the aspects which we are always trying to do is to ensure that we digitize ourselves. The many of the things which we are talking, discussing, or we know are mostly in mind or in paper. It is not in digital format. So if you remember, we had launched an initiative called Bhashadan with Bhashini. We are going to propagate it further and, look at everything which we know, we think, we speak as Indians gets digitized so that it can power our systems or the artificial intelligence models which we are talking about.
Okay, so when you're talking about this model, and what I understand that the entire aim is to not only have AI for India, but with India when you're giving that specific example also. But in this process of making these data models, what unexpected technical or philosophical challenge you would have faced because you have to, I'm sure, create a balance also in machine readability and along with ensuring that the linguistic richness also stays.
Yes, that's that's the second step which I would say, which is about the linguistic richness or the values. But the first step, of course, is the challenge of data. When we started Bhashini, for example, we had very limited digital data in all the 22 languages. We approximately 6 or 7 languages perhaps would have digital data which can be used for model training, but rest of it was not there, right? And we actually digitally, went on to the field to collect this digital data. The parallel corpus was created through the mechanism of about 300 odd people moving around on the field to create that particular parallel corpus. Once done, it is obviously a challenge because still the complete the complete breadth of the conversations or complete breadth of the vocabulary is still not in the system. And then we will have to actually build, how do we recognize that complete breadth of the vocabulary is not in the system is also a challenge. So we have adopted 4 major pillars. We are requesting people to use our systems and provide feedback. So that's one way to say that, what is going right and what is going wrong. That's one part of it. But also we get new vocabularies into the system. Second is, of course, we are trying to see how we can improve models through data collection and specifically targeted data collection. So our model has been to ensure that we do a targeted data collection with respect to this particular use case. So, for example, if there is we are currently running about 7 odd innovation challenges or hackathons, where we are trying to target specific use case, and all the use cases are looking at specific conversations or specific textual, discussions. For example, we are looking at over-the-counter multilingual combination, which generally happens in inquiry system across, wherever there is transport, railways, etc., etc.
Okay.
So in that case also, you would specifically require specific dialects to come into the system, specific words to come into the system, and we want that thing to be utilized. So there is a targeted data collection around the use cases which we are looking at. Plus, we are looking at applications to be developed around the language technology, which are inherently, like we had earlier digital first or digital native as a program. We are looking at voice first and multilingual first as the applications, whatever applications get developed, it needs to be voice first and it needs to be multilingual first. Then, that is the way in which we can not only enrich our system, but also ensure that all the things which we are talking about today in terms of culture, value, ethics, and Indian language datasets is covered.
Okay. And when you talk about all these centralization of aspects, ensuring that the cultural aspect also stays, and consider India being a nation with multiple languages and with a good volume of people who are consuming it, what is the key challenge when you're looking at the centralization of these aspects while ensuring that innovation doesn't get stuck in terms of your regulations or compliances also?
See, centralization is the wrong word because we have actually democratized technology. When we built up the Bhashini system, we had approximately 70 odd research institutes collaborate with us. These 70 institutes actually are from all over the country, and all over the country means that any institute which knew AI, which knew language technology, which knew voice, became our partner. So we are not looking at one large organization trying to imbibe everything into us. We are looking at these institutes, and they have delivered. In fact, these institutes delivering to us. Now, when they deliver to us, 2 things happen. One is that the linguistic local linguistic culture and value comes into the system, while as also the local AI skills develop. So the way I would say Bhashini has democratized AI, there's no parallel in the world actually, where we have actually ensured that every college or every corner of the country which has an engineering college has participated in this events, right?
Okay.
Now, the second part of it is that, and this incidentally would mean that we are further democratizing it. And the further democratization is happening with a partnership with respective states and other units in the respective states, because ultimately the, states have their own languages and they own the language. And so we are looking at a co-creation and a collaboration model with states. They co-own the model, they help us to actually improve it. It remains on a platform, and the platform is just an orchestration of various models to communicate to each other. So it is a tech engine, but it is as democratized as, I don't think there is a tech parallel to it. The closest could be Uber or a Zomato in that sense, that there are individual people who are entrepreneurs and who are coming to a platform just to ensure that they are able to get to the market, their go-to-market problem is solved, and they are discoverable. So from the discoverability point of view, they do there's a model from Mizo to English exist which can actually convert text to text. Bhashni platform will keep that discoverability.
Okay, that's great. And as you're collaborating with so many universities across the states, I'm sure the touch point and the impact is huge when we talk about Bhashali. So, as we conclude our interview, what would be the message from your side for such collaborations, enterprises, to the policymakers, the AI visionaries, and practitioners?
One of the things which we have to always realize is that AI is like a child to us. The more we teach, the better he would grow. The more we inculcate the values, ethics, it will imbibe the same. And the more we are able to make him practice, it will do better, right? So it's all about how do you want to nurture this. Do you want to nurture this in a way which is basically as a person or a persona which is actually going to assist you? Then it will be a good thing for you. It will be actually making things better for you. And for that, it is essential to actually ensure that these systems are used. You constructively criticize them, and then you ensure that you also participate in improving them. It is not, the baton is with everyone. It is not that there is a service provider and people would say that this service is better or that service. Today, this service is better because it had got some data which was more than what the other service has. Tomorrow, other service could be better because he would have managed that data. One of the very most critical aspects is that we have to ensure that the input resource to the models are open, remain open, and are accessible to everyone, so that the models can be created and actually the innovation is in the models.
Okay, great. And with this conversation, we are definitely taking this insight with us that the true power of AI lies just not in what it can compute, but whom it can empower. Thank you so much, Mr. Amitabh, for being with us today. The conversation with you has definitely led to us an understanding that India's approach is a collaborative approach. And with this approach, we are definitely there towards maturity and to create a global case study where we can highlight that scale is just not dependent on sovereignty, and innovation can definitely thrive on diversity and inclusiveness as well. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us. Thank you all of you for being with us in this segment of Digital Dialogues powered by CXO Digital Pulse. For more such innovative conversations around AI and many more technologies, do continue to watch this space.